Well, it's been said that nothing is certain in life except death and taxes. But for generations, you could have added that something else is pretty certain: Jewish support for Democrats. In fact, a majority of American Jews have voted for Democrats since FDR. But there are now growing signs that support could be softening. Jews in the swing states are having second thoughts about Kamala Harris. Gee, I wonder why. Pennsylvania has the largest Jewish population of those states, and any shift there could tip the scales enough to send Donald Trump back to the White House. So what kind of impact will Jewish voters have on this year's presidential election? Let's bring in Matt Brooks. He's the CEO of the Republican Jewish Coalition and a personal friend. I'm delighted to have you here, Matt. Thank you for joining us to talk about Jewish support for Kamala Harris. It's going a little soft this time.
Indeed it is, Governor. Indeed it is, and it is great to be with you. And thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to have this conversation, because I think it is extremely important. You know, we are at I believe, an inflection point in the Jewish community right now in terms of the Jewish vote and the impact that it can have. And so we have been at the forefront from the Republican Jewish Coalition side at doing everything that we can to try and bring as many former Jewish Democrats and independents over to vote for President Trump in this election.
You guys are running a spot, I saw it on air the other night, that was just brilliant. It's some ladies sitting there talking at a restaurant. All of them are Democrats, but they're saying they're going to vote for Trump this time because of things like personal security, safety, and support for Israel. I thought it was brilliantly put together. I know it's been running, so what kind of response are you getting, particularly from the Jewish community, as people see that, yeah, you know what, that's making sense to us?
Well, it's interesting because I have been doing this for a long, long time. And, you know, I'm almost on my 35th year at the Republican Jewish Coalition. And I will tell you, in all of those years, I have never had an ad that we have run, of the hundreds of ads that we've run over the years. I've never had one that's had the impact and has hit with the same kind of intensity that this ad has. And not only is it resonating within Jewish homes and families and people talking about it, but the amount of earned media, the amount of press attention. And I think it goes to the heart of what's really taking place among Jewish voters this election, which, quite frankly, people, as you said, Governor, are worried about the safety of themselves, of their children, their grandchildren. For the first time in my lifetime, the Jewish community in America feels unsafe, feels insecure. Jews in cities all across America are afraid to walk the streets with a yarmulke on top of their head or with the Star of David around their neck for fear of getting assaulted. College kids are scared to walk on the campuses and to go to class. And, you know, there is a clear choice. It's in this election. And as we said in our ad, and this is important because a lot of people out there feel really worried about this, but don't particularly care for Donald Trump. You know what? It's not a popularity contest. It's okay to not really care for Donald Trump. But here's the takeaway. Donald Trump, not Kamala Harris, will do what it takes to keep Jewish Americans safe and to crack down on the rampant anti-Semitism in this country and to stand strongly and squarely with Israel in a very difficult time.
You know, the economy is uncertain. You never know whether your money's worth as much today as it was yesterday. It's one of the reasons I buy gold from American Hartford Gold. American Hartford Gold has earned a 5-star rating and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Be sure to tell them Mike Huckabee sent you. They'll give you up to $15,000 of free silver on your first qualifying order. Call 844-417-1010 or text Mike to 998899. You'll be glad you did business with American Hartford Gold. You know, the irrational hate toward Donald Trump is similar to the irrational hate that we're seeing in American streets toward Jewish people. You mentioned about the college campuses. I find it absolutely stunning that on some of the most prestigious and, let me add, expensive college campuses in this country, Ivy League schools, Jewish students really can't even get to class for fear they're going to be assaulted. And if not openly, violently, physically assaulted, verbally assaulted, spit upon, treated with a level of disrespect that we haven't seen since the Holocaust. My gosh, what happened to this country? What has taken place where students can't even go to the school they're paying for without fear of being assaulted?
No, it's ugly, and it's indefensible that we see this taking place in America. I don't know about you, Governor, but that's not the America I grew up in or the America that I want. And it's not the America that we deserve. And so, yeah, we need to take back our country in this election. And as we said in our ad, Jews are saying that this is anti-Semitism like they never thought they'd see in their lifetime. And Kamala Harris, when given an opportunity to condemn it, says that she supports the rights of students to have free speech. Donald Trump says he's going to deport all of those protesting death to America, death to Israel, death to the Jews, Intifada revolution from the river to the sea, all of that hate and vitriol, all of those students who are in America with foreign visas. Donald Trump says, you know what, you don't have a right to do that on American college campuses. We're going to send you back home. He's going to crack down on the administrators who turn a blind eye to this, and to use the resources that we have in terms of the pocketbook to crack down on all the federal grant money and all the support that the colleges are getting from the federal government. There is just no moral clarity in the administrators and academia anymore. And until they feel the real pressure, they're not going to change. And the only candidate who's running for president who's prepared to bring the pressure and the heat to make sure that Jews and students are safe in general is Donald Trump.
It does appear that this is as stark a contrast in terms of those who support the Jewish people in the state of Israel. I've never seen it like this. I mean, historically, Democrats were equally supportive of Israel. I think maybe that's why Jewish people tended to vote Democrat. But in this case, you have one administration, the Biden-Harris administration, basically threatening to pull support from Israel if they don't surrender to Hamas. And I say surrender, they call it a ceasefire, but it would be a surrender. And then you have the other Donald Trump, who did extraordinary things, from the Abraham Accords, recognizing the Golan Heights as belonging to the state of Israel, Judea and Samaria also recognizing them, and moving the embassy. So what's so hard for Jewish voters? I mean, I'm Christian, but I'm very supportive of Israel. I can't imagine why any Jewish voter would look at the record of both and say, yeah, I'm having a hard time deciding.
Well, I will tell you, in a lot of cases, it really is a head scratcher, Governor. But as I said at the outset of the segment, I do think we're at an inflection point. I think that Donald Trump is going to significantly increase his share of the Jewish vote this election, as he did from the last several elections. That's the real good takeaway. If you go back over the last several election cycles, Republicans have made significant inroads. We're continuing to whittle away at the stranglehold that the Democratic Party has had among Jewish voters. And in some cases, in 2020, in critical battleground states, places like Georgia, where we got 50% of the Jewish vote, we had equal parity with the Democrats. In Florida, we got 43% of the Jewish vote for Donald Trump. Those are this is what we're seeing all across the country, and I'm hoping it's going to accelerate in this election, because the Jewish community really has to realize that there is only one pro-Israel party. This is not the Democratic Party of Harry Truman. This is not the Democratic Party of Joe Lieberman. This is not even the Democratic Party of Bill Clinton. This is the Democratic Party of Ilhan Omar, of Rashida Tlaib, of Summer Lee, and the rest of the squad who traffic in anti-Semitism, are accusing Israel of genocide, favor an arms embargo on Israel to prevent Israel from doing what it needs to win the war. This is the new face of the Democratic Party.
Well, I hope it's one we don't see a whole lot in the future.